Welcome back to another episode of the Tracy Take. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we are going to be doing a Week 5 review. But before we get into that, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and also hit that notification bell so you get notified when we create new content. Like this video, comment on this video, let us know your overall thoughts. And Ryan, let's get into it. This was a pretty
Yeah.
exciting Week 5. Nothing too crazy happened, but the craziness that did happen was kind of surreal. And so normally, if this is your first time listening to our videos, Ryan and I, we break down each video into 3 segments: what we expected from this week, what was unexpected, and then kind of our what the
Little delay. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that.
That's okay. But so we kind of break down those moments here. And so we'd like to start off with kind of the boring stuff, what we expected. This whole segment is really going to consist of just the NFC West and just the 2 games that were going on, the Los Angeles Rams at Seattle and also the San Francisco 49ers visiting the Arizona Cardinals. Kind of happened how we expected it. I think that we probably expected the Cardinals to win a little bit more because their offense
Yeah.
is so explosive. But also that 49ers defense is really good, and having Trey Lance as a quarterback, they might want to slow the game down a little bit, which they did, and it kept it competitive. But Cardinals, they're the only 5-0 team. And Ryan, I will say, I think obviously we all know about their explosive offense, but they have the 7th ranked defense when it comes to just according to
Yeah.
points allowed. So that
No, and
is
that was something that I actually,
that's going to be tough to beat.
well, that's something that I actually didn't expect coming into the season. I thought they were going to have a lot of struggles with that defense just because I think that secondary isn't very good. But Budda Baker has stepped up. Isaiah Simmons, Zayvon Collins have both played well. And Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt and that defensive line has played really well together. So that was something to me that I think has been a huge plus for them. I think right now they're leading the league or really close to leading the league in overall sacks. It helps that Chandler Jones had 5 in the first game. But so
let me see here.
But yeah, no.
I can't see any right now. But yeah, they definitely have one of the more, I think, overall consistent defenses, it seems. They had the one game against the Vikings where they gave up 33 points. But off the top of my head, the Vikings offense, like that's expected. Like we're going to talk about the Vikings here a little bit later in the episode. But they have a very explosive offense and can go against anyone on any given Sunday. But the Cardinals are, as we said, are doing what they expected, but the 49ers, this was what we feared coming into the season, was Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt, Trey Lance having to take over, and that offense really just isn't as dynamic. And they've had a slew of injuries, it seems like, on the offensive side of the ball. If I'm not mistaken, I think George Kittle is also on the IR as well.
Yes, he is.
Is hurt as well. So, I mean, once again, it's just the same thing that happened last year, and it seems like they're just having a slew of injuries that are slowing down. Really a really good team, honestly.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. This is exactly what they did last year. They started out, I think, fairly strong, and then they just kept getting hurt. I know COVID played a role in their struggles last year of just keeping guys on the field, but it kind of starts this spiral. I mean, it's hard to get in midseason form when your offensive line has only played 4 games together by week 9, like they did last year. So I hope it's something that they can get under control, but at the same time, it's going to be really tough for them already, having not had some of those games together, because that division is so strong. And when you got to go against the Rams and the Cardinals, I mean, the 49ers, they got to play at their best in both of those games to win. So,
oh yeah. If that defense stays healthy, I think they have a shot. Against those teams, but like you said, it's going to be tough. And staying healthy is the number one thing behind playing well. So
the best ability is availability.
Yeah, I agree. We'll get back to those teams in a second. Want to move over to the Thursday night football game where Matthew Stafford took the Rams into Seattle and took care of business, in my opinion. I think a little fortunate Russell Wilson got hurt, but it almost looked like Geno Smith had a better offensive line for some reason than Russell Wilson did, which I thought was ironic. That team
Yeah.
looks that offensive line looked more competent than with Russell Wilson back there. So I don't really know why, but
Mhm.
uh, that's going to be a big shakeup for Seattle because it's looking like Russell Wilson's going to be out 4 to 8 weeks, just depending on
Yeah.
how quickly that finger heals. So they're going to need Geno Smith and have a great offensive line for them to have any chance moving forward. But we already had our doubts going into this season that they would be a competitive team in general.
No, yeah. So that was actually one of the things that I guess we somewhat expected was that like if they can't keep Russell Wilson from getting hit, that like eventually they will pile up. And sadly, we were somewhat right about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he gets back as quickly as he can, just because he's a great piece for football. But I mean, all in all, I think the Rams probably still would have won the game. Uh, but it was a great game, and I think the Rams, granted they lost to Arizona, but the Rams have set themselves up really well in this division so far to go ahead
Well,
and at least be a wild card team.
yeah, and I believe they're going to make the playoffs. And really,
Oh,
no matter
100%.
what, that's a team I don't want to face. They have a deadly defense with a great defensive front, and you get arguably one of the
Yeah,
best cornerbacks in the league to lock down your number one receiver. Then on the other side of the ball, they have all the weapons in the world. Darrell Henderson Jr. has turned to be a great running back and I think has been very efficient with them. They have amazing receivers starting with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and then you got Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee at tight end, and you can never forget about Deshaun Jackson, who has multiple deep threat catches and touchdowns this year. So it is they're going to be a tough team to watch. And to kind of see where they end up because really with Arizona right
hmm
now, Arizona I think is the number one team in the league. But how do you see this division? Just kind of wrap this up here. How do you see this division shaking out? Which teams do you see winning the division? Which teams do you see make the playoffs? And which teams do you see fizzling out at the end of the year?
Um, so right now, I kind of see it playing out the rest of the season the way it is. I think Arizona, if they can keep playing at this level, I don't really see a lot of teams in the NFL that can stop that offense. Right now, I mean,
Yeah,
I think of the other teams. The LA Rams just lost to them. Tampa Bay has the worst secondary in the league that even the Patriots wide receiving group was able to pick apart. So, I, I mean, I think Arizona is going to keep getting better and better. One of the big things is if one of those key pieces on defense gets hurt, I don't know if it's able to be replaced the same way that it is on offense. So that is something to kind of keep an eye on. But hopefully, again, injuries don't happen. And then I think the Rams will end up being the 5 seed as a wild card. And I think
mm-hmm.
not because I think it's a bad team. I just think Arizona is going to finish probably 13-4, 14-3. I mean, they haven't lost yet, and we're already a third of the way through the season. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the number of losable games is going down for them. So,
Well, and also if you look at the situation too that they're in, so they have only one game left with the Rams, but if I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
they have one game left with the
one
49ers.
left with the 49ers.
Yeah. Well, and Trey Lance, I think I've seen reports where he might have a sprained knee, where he might
Yeah,
be ineligible for the upcoming weeks. We'll have to see on that. Those are just rumors. But then when they play Seattle, they end Seattle, but then they also play Seattle at the end of November. So maybe Russell Wilson will be back by then. But if they play Seattle without Russell Wilson, we already know all the flaws that Seattle has. Those could be
yeah,
some easier victories for them. Let alone they're playing Houston. Then they also play the Bears. They play Detroit. They play Indianapolis. All teams that they can easily beat, in my opinion.
yeah.
So
No, 100%.
the road just gets a little bit easier, I think, for Arizona to winning the division, while the Rams are going to have a little bit tougher road
Yeah.
I guess, kind of come back and I'd say accomplish kind of now an upset division win.
Yeah, and that's okay. So I'm trying to count the losable games for the Cardinals right now. Next week they go to the Browns. That's a big game,
That's a tough
right?
one.
So that's a losable game. And then after that, they play the Rams again a week and a half before Christmas.
They do play Green Bay as well.
They play Green Bay, but it's in Arizona. And so
that's true. That's a good point.
So I don't see – I see 3 really tough games left for them.
Yeah.
So
but on the flip side, though, I will say this. The Rams coming out, they can easily win their next 5 games. At the Giants, home against Detroit, at Houston, home against Tennessee, at San Francisco. So they can string off their next 5 games easily. So that's going to be a tough division. I think those 2 teams are going to come out of that division and make the playoffs. I think San Francisco, unless if they kind of keep on the trend, if they can't score points, like you need to be able to score points in this day and age, especially then if Trey Lance gets hurt and then they have to go to their 3rd string quarterback. That's going to be tough for them. And I think Seattle's done. I never thought Seattle could make the playoffs anyways, just in that division. They already have 6 division games, let alone the fact that they won the division last year. So I think that's going to be really tough for them. So right now, to me, it's looking like the Cardinals and the Rams are going to come out of the division. I'm going to lean towards the Cardinals having the division win.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And again, I hope that the injuries for Seattle and San Francisco get better, but right now I'm going to bet against them. So
yeah.